we are going to continue with our presentation. Here we create a student 1. In our case here, student 0 is just a little error that you can modify in your own code when you will be compiling. And we create a student malloc size of. Here we are asking the compiler to go in the processor, to go in the memory and create and allocate to us a space which will contain exactly a student. So we don't so using a malloc size of, it is going to create a memory space which is going to be exactly the size, because for user defined data types there is not a predefined size in the memory. So to fix that problem, we use dynamic allocation. We could also use dynamic allocation for integers, for characters, for names, but we choose to but it will be useless because C programming has already um because in C programming there's already a a a a size for integers and characters, so no need of asking it to create dynamically again. Okay, the next thing we have to do is that we have to create the first student, and we have to create also a new student, because to add an element to the list, to add a student to a student's list, we have to create a new student. The next thing we have to do is that we have to create a the first student. We have to create the first student. We could also ask prompt the user to enter the first student, but we have to create the first student. So here I create this first student. His name is Milkovic. This is his matricule. This is his sex, number of subjects, and as I said, since in this case the first element is also the last element, what we are going to do is that we are going to say that the pointer next is 0, is the default pointer. And when I say the default pointer, we can also understand that it is the null pointer. Okay, the next thing that we are going to do is that we are going to this is the most important manipulation on pointers, because if you miss this manipulation, it is the key point on pointers. On linked list, this is the key point. What we are doing here is that we are saying that the first student receives student 1, i.e. all the elements of student 1 are going to be mounted on the first student, so that the first student and student 1 should be identical. The reason why we do this is to avoid that when we will enter other students, we are going to lose the address of the student 0, because this is not as arrays that this is not this does not functions as array that we can directly access the other elements from the first element. Here, to access the other elements, we need the address of the first element. If you don't have the address, we are going to go here. We are going to proceed, and once we reach this, you have no means of accessing the previous one. Okay, this is the loop. In this loop, we prompt the user to enter the name of the user. He enters the name, we use string copy and copy it to the name. He enters the matricule, we use string copy and copy it to the matricule. He enters the sex, and also this is the most vital information. This is the most vital part of the for loop here, because here we are saying that the new student that we created up here, don't forget that here we created a new student. The new student that we created up here is going to receive student 1 next. That is this pointer, like this pointer student, this pointer student. What it is going to receive is what student 1 is going to receive is the address of our previous first element, that is the successor, the address of our successor element. And naturally student 1 next is going to naturally student 1 is going to receive new student. Okay, okay. And what we do here is that we place the new student at the end of the list. So each time we place the new student that we created at the end of the list. So each time that we create a student, we are going to add him behind somewhere here, because we can still implement it so that the student should be added somewhere here. Okay, this line like this is pretty easy. All what we do here is that we just display. Also, the key thing here that we have to note is that since we said that the first student, this is where the functioning of the linked list comes in place, because if we do not place a pointer on the first student, what we were going to do is that we are going to lose the address of the of student 0. We are going to lose the address of student 0. In order not to address to lose the address of student 0, we are going to it is this line that permits us not to lose the address of student 0. It's this line that permits us not to lose the address of student 0 first student. So we are going to say that first student should be different from null. And also it is here that, but here is really easy to understand, because all what we are saying is that this first student receives the next. And what does next contain? Next contains the pointer that permits us to get access to the next element. So we are going to compile it really fast and see the output.